All right.
Yeah, no, I like it.
We're going to get started, everyone. Bonjour, Anin, Tanse, Bejik Penesi Kwe Nindigenous, Migazi Dudem, Gawekwe Da Wangak, Nindunji, Winnipeg Nindunji. Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Levasseur-Puhatch. I'm a proud member of the Sandy Bay Anishinaabe Nation. I live in Winnipeg. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and daughter of Indian residential school survivors. I'm a community volunteer, and I'm also the chair of the Mayor's Indigenous Advisory Circle, as well as a member of the Winnipeg Poverty Reduction Council and a board member of End Homelessness Winnipeg. And I am so honored and happy to be with all of you here today. I'd like to acknowledge and give thanks to the elders that are here today and the knowledge keepers who are here with us. Elder Val Vint, where is she? There she is, Miigwech. As well as Natasha and Chris Turner, who are supporting us with traditional knowledge keeping, and Chris is getting our sacred fire starting. So Natasha, where are you? Oh, there she is. And Chris, Egose, and Miigwech for being here today to light our ceremonial fire. I would also like to welcome and acknowledge all the residential school survivors and their families who might be here today. Thank you so much, Miigwech Egosani, for being here today. To all the various dignitaries, guests, our youth, students, educators, thank you for gathering with us to celebrate. We also have some board members from the Healing Forest that will be joining us. Judy Washalishali's, former MP for Winnipeg North. Judy, are you here? I don't see her quite yet. I'm sure she'll be joining us. We also have the very Reverend Paul Johnson. Hi, Paul. Thank you for joining us. And to start us off now in a good way, I would like to invite Elder Val Vint to offer our opening prayer. Elder Vint. Good day, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's a beautiful day to be outside celebrating and celebrating the work of this organization. We ask and we all wish for the best for our community, and it's organizations and the people within this organization that are making a difference for our communities, that out of this wonderful work will come better lives for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and for the generations forward. So I pray every day like this that we remain strong, because how we are going to progress is we make life easier for our children and our grandchildren. And that's how we grow as a community. And I'm honored to be here with the Career Trek people and all this wonderful work that is being done. And I pray that it continues, and that the youth that they teach will continue that work, and it will go on, and we continue to support our future, our children, in ways like this. And this is how we get to a world where we can heal, and where people realize, don't care what you look like, where you come from, we are all related. And that we support each other in this way, helping all our children get educated, not just one group, but all our children.
I am thankful to be a part of anything that strengthens our future like that. And I say miigwech to the Creator. I say miigwech to the ancestors, because when we get in trouble, put your tobacco down. Ask for those ancestors to come and help us move on in our path, and they will do it. So miigwech for all of you to be here and supporting this work as well.
Thank you, Elder Vint, for your thoughts and prayers and starting us off in a very good way today. Also want to note that Elder Vint is a board member for the Healing Forest as well. So thank you. I'd now like to invite Rhonda Taylor, who is the CEO for Career Track, to come forward and share a traditional land acknowledgement that will help ground us and connect us to this place that we're gathered today. Rhonda.
Thank you. Career Track would like to acknowledge and respect and has the honor of working on lands in Treaty 1 territory, a treaty that was entered into in 1871 at Lower Fort Garry. It is important to recognize that the land on which we're gathered is the traditional and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, who prior to contact with Europeans created and maintained important trade routes, belonged to the land and respected non-human species, and thrived in a culture that was celebrated through language, ceremony, tradition, and a sustainable economy. Just as important is the acknowledgement that Treaty 1 territory is also the homeland of the Métis Nation, a nation that came to be in the late 18th, early 19th century, a nation of people of mixed Indigenous and European ancestry with its own distinct culture, language, and history. As we gather in Treaty 1 territory, it is important to recognize and honor Treaty 3, in particular Shoal Lake 40 First Nation, the source of Winnipeg's clean drinking water. To honor the gift of water, Career Track will support Shoal Lake 40 First Nations work to end a decades-long boil water advisory and recognize the importance and impact of the all-weather road that opened June 2019. As we think about and acknowledge Treaty 1, Treaty 3, and the homeland of the Métis Nation, and as we move along the path of truth and reconciliation, it will be important to remember that we are on this journey because of the history that until recently hadn't been told. The true history, a colonial history that shapes Canada's relationship with Indigenous peoples. In the era of truth and reconciliation, it will be important to ensure there is a dedicated commitment from individuals and institutions to the 94 calls to actions outlined by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the 46 articles of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and the 231 calls for justice that came from the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit People. Taken from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's Principles of Reconciliation, together, Canadians must do more than just talk about reconciliation. We must learn how to practice reconciliation in our everyday lives, within ourselves and our families, and in our communities, governments, places of worship, schools, and workplaces. To do so constructively, Canadians must remain committed to the ongoing work of establishing and maintaining respectful relationships.
Miigwech, Rhonda. That was a very thoughtful, genuine, certainly heartfelt acknowledgement, and I just want to appreciate you for that. Before we begin, I just want to extend a couple of additional thank yous. We want to say thanks to Carrie Sainer Harvey. Is she here somewhere? He. From the Mennonite Central Committee for providing us some funds in order for this event to take place. We also want to thank Derek Dexter. Where is Derek? There he is. Thank you very much. He's the owner of the Grounds Guys Winnipeg. and he's brought us the beautiful trees that we're preparing for planting today. So thank you, and thank you for being here. Today is a special day for a number of reasons. We're here bringing organizations together and community in a space of truth, reconciliation, and reciprocity, and to celebrate National Tree Day. We're gathered here today to also bridge Indigenous and Western worldviews, to learn, to respect, and to celebrate in a way that honors their contributions to our well-being. As we've already started to witness, the event is inclusive of Indigenous ceremonial traditions, which includes a smudge, a sacred fire, an opening prayer, and in a few minutes, we're going to hear some teachings from Elder Val Vint, where she will share with us the importance and the value of trees that surround us and the connection to the land. We will have the honor of hearing Elder Val Vint share a drum song with us, a tree song, and 2 other drummers and singers. And I'll take your names and thank you, miigwech, after. As part of our gathering today, 3 trees will be planted to help with the expansion and the development of Kapabamayak Achaak, which in Cree translates to the Wandering Spirit Healing Forest. Students who are here from Gonzaga Middle School will not only experience the exchange of Indigenous knowledge and ceremony, but they'll be the ones that will add soil to the trees and ultimately grinding them and grounding them in this space. We will get a chance to experience one of Career Trek's signature hands-on lessons, that of an environmental technologist, exploring some of the work in that field of study. So without further ado, let's begin today's gathering. I would first like to welcome Kyle Mason to the podium. Kyle is wearing 2 hats here today, actually, as one of the board members of the Healing Forest, as well as the Director of Development of Career Trek. Welcome, Kyle.
Bonjour, Annie. Tansei. Comment ça? Hello. Bonjour. I think that covers most. As you just heard, my name is Kyle, and I am wearing 2 hats today. So on behalf of my part of Career Trek, everybody here at Career Trek, our team has been working really hard at making sure today would be a smashing success, and it looks like it has been already, and I know it will be continuing to do so. But I also wanted to come up here and take a couple minutes to do some acknowledgments and to tell you a bit about this healing forest that we're here, gathered here today at. But I also wanted to make sure that I wanted to acknowledge the ministers and the MLAs that are present here, along with our local city councillors. Also, Councillor Ross Eady was unable to make it here today, so his assistant, Aaron McDowell, is there in the back. Also, fellow board member of the Healing Forest, Ryan Epp, is sitting over there. I'd like to say hi to Ryan. He's also one of the leading architects of this space that we're here today. So thank you all for joining us as well. Also want to, of course, acknowledge the elders. Thank you for joining us as well, and to the drum group for honoring us with your song shortly. So here, we are, about year 2 or 3 here at the Healing Forest. That has been slowly developing over the last number of years. And this Healing Forest is here for a number of reasons. One, to recognize and honor the residential school survivors and thrivers, but also to acknowledge and remember all the hundreds of thousands of children who did not make it out of that system. There's also great injustices continuing in other systems, whether it be 60 Scoops or current day CFS systems as well, that have some difficulty as well. And this space here has been designed to talk about these stories, to not forget the troubled past between Canada and our Indigenous peoples. And it's also a place where we can talk about these stories and come together and heal. As a board member of the Healing Forest, it has been a great joy for me to see people come and use this space for songs, for ceremonies, family gatherings. And as the son of a residential school survivor and a day school survivor, this space has particular importance to me personally. I bring great joy when I'm able to bring my son to this space, and he runs around and plays around on these boulders and logs. He's only 7 years old, so this is a great place to come have a family picnic just for my family. So I would encourage you, if you have time today or at another point in the near future, come back and enjoy this space. This space is open to everybody at any time. There is a way to book this space if you want to make it official through our Facebook group for the Healing Forest. But at any time, you're welcome to just come and enjoy the space, reflect, talk, reconcile, heal, or connect with the Creator in the way that you do. Also, when you do, I'd also encourage you to go to the four directional boulders. You see the boulders in the four directions. Take some time to walk all the way around them. There's been some beautiful artwork. An elder took months to bring the creatures and the people that were inside the boulders and help them come outside and come say hello. So if you have some time today or any time in the future, please take some time to explore and enjoy this Healing Forest. So once again, on behalf of the Healing Forest, I want to say thank you. We're honored to participate with Career Check with this event. And as a senior staff member at Career Check, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Kyle, for those beautiful words. I'm looking at the fire, and Chris, thank you so much, Miigwech, for starting our sacred fire. It's already warming me up. I don't know about all of you, but it's beautiful, and it smells wonderful. It's now my pleasure to welcome Minister Sarah Guimard, Minister responsible for Conservation and Climate, to bring greetings on behalf of the province of Manitoba. Minister Guimard.
Hello, bonjour everyone. My name is Sarah Guimard. I am not the Minister of Conservation and Climate. That is what I do. I am the daughter of Jennifer and Albert Chudley. I am the mother to Ethan, Alec, Annalise, and Kalina. And today I'm very honored to join you. Today is special, and that is how I connect with today's special event. Je tiens à profiter de l'occasion pour reconnaître que nous sommes sur le territoire du traité numéro 1 et sur les terres ancestrales des peuples Anishinaabe, Inuit, Anishinaabe, Dakota et Dene, et de la nation métisse. I'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered on Treaty 1 territory, the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. National Tree Day is a special day within the larger National Forest Week, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. This is appropriate, as this healing forest at St. John's Park is a special place within the larger network of healing forests across Canada. In Manitoba, we are fortunate with our vast natural forests, provincial parks, and the urban forests in our communities. Walking through a forest or a park, we see and we feel the benefits that trees provide us. They provide us clean air, clean water, shade on a hot day, and habitat for wildlife. As trees grow, they help mitigate the effects of climate change by removing carbon dioxide from the air, storing carbon and releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. However, trees and forests also promote mental well-being, as mothers do. They can reduce stress and they can help with healing. Manitoba has a legacy of tree planting efforts throughout the province, investment in forest health initiatives and urban forest programs, all in support of our valuable trees. This year, even during a pandemic, we can all still celebrate National Tree Day while staying apart by planting trees or taking a walk and enjoying our trees in one of Manitoba's many urban or provincial parks. I'm pleased to be here in this forest watching new trees being planted that will provide us so many benefits to so many of us, now and well into the future. Thank you. Merci, miigwech.
All these new measures. Thank you very much, Minister Umar. Bringing greetings on behalf of Member of Parliament, Mr. Kevin Lamoureux, and the federal government is Eric Napier-Strong. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Those of you who know Kevin might realize I'm not him, but today is a very important day. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to keep the mood a little light. I realize it's a very solemn occasion, and today's a very important day in Ottawa, of course. And Kevin was really very sad that he couldn't be here. I think we're reflecting on two really important things here. It's a very beautiful moment, but it's one that also makes me very sad. Earlier this weekend we planted about 250 trees on the far west side of the riding, and to kind of wrap it up, planting more here would have been really lovely for him, I think. But we're looking, it's a hopeful place, but we're also looking back on, I would say, two of our greatest national shames, right? We're looking back at this damaged, this inexcusable relationship with Indigenous people that we've had in the past. And we're also reflecting on, the damage that we've done to our earth and to our climate. And I think it's so beautiful to see these two ideas kind of wrapped up in one.
On behalf of the City of Winnipeg and Mayor Brian Bowman, to bring greetings, Councillor Rollins.
I have the pleasure of spending a lot of time with Kim Puhatch. She's my sister in the struggle at the Mayor's Indigenous Advisory Council, and it's great to be with her today, great to be with all of you friends. I want to thank the elders and the knowledge keepers very much for your words and what is to come. I'm honored to be here on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation, with members of the Circle for Kapabamayak Achaak, the Healing Forest within St. John's Ward. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of His Worship, Mayor Brian Bowman, and with so many members of the Legislative Assembly colleagues and my colleague, Scott Gillingham, who I have the absolute pleasure of working very, very closely with, who, when I got to council, agreed to be this rookie councillor's mentor, rookie mentor, and I'm glad to be with him today in this beautiful, beautiful forest. It's also my honor and privilege to celebrate with the amazing Career Check team and the important, and with Gonzaga School, I want to recognize the students and your beautiful Every Child Matters. I'm getting my t-shirts on for September 30th. Thank you for wearing yours today, the students of Gonzaga, and for being here today. I wanted to not only thank you for celebrating National Tree Day here, but when I was reflecting on the peace that trees bring us, I went to a really reflective place. And so it's important, I think, in the words of Kim Puhatch, that I went to the traditional place of my Wendat teachings, and I went to the place of my Judeo-Christian teachings. And I'm reflective on the Ketuvim, or Psalm 1:3. And I was inspired by a walk that a member of the Legislative Assembly, Bernadette Smith, did one day by the river. She recorded herself on YouTube, and I share love and friendship with Bernadette Smith, as well as Nahani Fontaine. And she walks by the river, and I thought of her and these walks that she's done by the river, with trees in the backdrop, wind in her hair. And so I'll end with sort of a poem jumping off of that Psalm 1:3. Perhaps we shall be as a tree planted by the waters, spread out. Our roots by the river, life-giving river. When heat comes, our leaves are enduring green. Even in the midst of the pandemic, our leaves are enduring green. Leaves are unyielding in a year of drought. And between heat and drought, shall not cease from yielding fruit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rollins, for being here on behalf of the City of Winnipeg and sharing that lovely reflection. I just note that Judy Washalishalis has arrived on her bike. Hi, Judy. Welcome. Judy Washalishalis, former MP, Winnipeg North. It's my pleasure now to invite Nahani Fontaine to the podium. Nahani is the NDP MLA for St. John's, so this is her riding, and is also the granddaughter of residential school survivors. The Healing Forest and the trees have great meaning to her and her family. Nahani, welcome.
Oh no, I just broke my mask. Miigwech, Anin everyone. I first and foremost want to say miigwech to Val and our matriarchs that are here and that will be sharing their, not only their power, but their knowledge and their resilience and their love with everybody. So I acknowledge all of the women here today. I acknowledge each and every one of the residential school survivors that are sitting in circle with us today. Know that we are so appreciative of your resiliency and your courage to allow the next generation to go on. I acknowledge each and every one of you here today sitting in this circle. I say miigwech to our firekeeper for having our sacred fire, which is on this side keeping us a little bit warmer, I think. I didn't realize it was so cold, so I decided to wear a dress with a bunch of holes in it. So I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I want to acknowledge Rhonda and Kyle for bringing us here today to gather, not only in honor of trees and planting trees, but also to allow us the opportunity to gather in this space, which is meant to recognize residential school survivors and the history of residential schools. Miigwech for that work. Miigwech for Kyle and Reverend Paul, who I saw here earlier. I don't know where he is, but miigwech for that important work. Kyle will know that just this past June, we gathered here as community, as proud parents of the 2020 Indigenous graduates, of which my son was a part of that. And as we were watching all of the graduates, many of the young women in beautiful skirts, representative of Indigenous women's strength and power, and watching Indigenous young men wear their ribbon shirts and walking with such pride, it didn't fail on me the importance of this next generation walking into this sacred circle, taking their place as our next leaders. When the colonial state of Canada did everything within its power to make sure that we were not here and that generation of graduates were not gathered here on their journey forward. And so it is so important to have space like this, physical space in each of our communities, and we should have them in each of our cities and towns across this country from coast to coast to coast that acknowledges the history of residential schools, that acknowledges residential school survivors. You know, we're still dealing with the consequences of those same policies. If we look at what's going on right now in Nova Scotia, that is the direct consequence of colonialism. That is the direct consequences of the policies and legislation that was put in place by the colonial state meant to destroy us that we're still dealing with. And so I say miigwech for having us come together to gather here today. I also want to acknowledge, like my sister did earlier, all of these beautiful students here. It's such a blessing to sit in circle with students, with the next generation. And I also just want to give an acknowledgement to this beautiful grandmother here on the corner with her granddaughter. You may or not know that this beautiful grandmother lost her son, Jordan Thomas, who was a graduate of St. John's High School 3 years ago, who was killed. And I just want to acknowledge her and her family because they have so much love and recognition of their son. And everything that she does is also in honor of her grandson, so I acknowledge you as well. So I say miigwech. Unfortunately, and I hate when we do this as politicians, so I really, really apologize. We have a caucus meeting right now, so I actually have to leave, so I apologize, but I lift each and every one of my hands up to you, and have a great day. Miigwech.
Thank you, Nahani, and thank you for leaving us with those really remarkable and thoughtful words. Now, Mr. Dougal Lamont is here to join us as well, and he is a member of the Legislative Assembly, sitting as an independent Liberal. We welcome Dougal Lamont.
Thank you.
On that side. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Dougal Lamont. I'm leader of the Manitoba Liberal Party and MLA for St. Boniface. It's a tremendous pleasure and an honor to be here today, to be part of this ceremony. It makes me think of a couple of things. One is that my son is 9 years old, and even before the crisis of the pandemic, we were talking about a climate crisis, and he was terribly worried about what was going on. And he urged me, he pleaded with me to go plant a tree with him, which we did, and that made him feel better. But that's it's a very hopeful thing, because for our future generations and for the children here today, I really do believe we can live in a better world if we put the effort into it. That obviously there will be a time when this pandemic is past and this sickness is past, and things will be better, and we'll be able to look back on this time and talk about how difficult it was and appreciate the companionship and fellowship we all shared together, and then we can choose to have a better world together. And that's a wonderful part of what's happening today. I also think of an elder that I spoke with in Brandon. I went to visit him with Robert Falcon-Willett, and I listened as he said, one of the things we do wrong in our current world is we take too much from nature and we don't give back. And there's a point where we can't just keep taking and taking and taking without giving something back. And one of the things we can do to give back is to plant trees, to restore wilderness, to give nature a place to breathe and give nature a place to heal. And in doing that, we can also heal ourselves. So I thank you very, very much for being here. It's a tremendous honor, and to be able to support you. Thank you to all the children here and all the elders who are here today. Thank you for your prayers. It means an enormous amount to me. So thank you.
Notice I have a very good helper because I keep forgetting in between, so my apologies, everyone. Thanks again, Dougal, for those kind words. Okay, so now I'd like to welcome back Rhonda Taylor to the podium to say a few words on behalf of Career Trek. Rhonda.
The wind is blowing. Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you to everyone for being here. It's so nice to be in a place with people again. I have to say, I think one of the things I've really missed the most as a result of COVID-19 is to be able to come together with people. And I know we still kind of have to sit apart and be careful how close we get to each other, but I can't tell you just the tremendous feeling I have right now of actually being in a space and a place with people. So thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and share with everyone a little bit about, who we are and what we do. Career Trek is a not-for-profit organization that focuses on providing education, career exploration, and career development programming for children and youth in the province. We have programming in Winnipeg, Brandon, Dauphin, The Pas, and Flin Flon. And our programming participants are as young as grade 5. So we start the conversation with them early to get them thinking about all of the different options that exist for them as they continue their career and education journey. And then we're also providing points of entry into our programming for high school students as well, right? So really, where can we come together to be able to share information about all of the things that can exist? When our truckers go on to university or college or a training program, we actually hire them back as our part-time staff. And what's really exciting about this is that they then get to deliver content that is of interest to them, they're passionate about it, and what they end up doing is engaging, inspiring, and mentoring the next generation of career trekkers. With our programming that we have and that we offer, I'm really excited to actually share this with you because I think we did a count over the summer at some point. But our career lesson database exists of over 150 different career options that we can share with students. And so in most of our programs, at a very minimum, students will experience or explore up to 20 different careers. And depending on the program, that number can jump to 30 or 40. And so when we look at, what we're able to provide through the programming, the other thing that is really great is that the lessons that kids get to explore go across a number of different sectors, right? So we're showing them and able to demonstrate all of the possibilities that exist. So that's everything from healthcare to trades to technology, engineering, communications, culinary arts, graphic design. I mean, you name it, we probably have it. And so it really gives kids that knowledge and awareness of the endless amount of possibilities that can exist for them. Because I know I've said it and I've heard other people say it, I wish I had Career Trek when I was a kid, right? We all sort of know, what we know as we're growing up and what we're familiar with, but we're able to expand that knowledge and awareness for kids. So, today's gathering is really exciting. Kimberly's mentioned a few reasons already, about why it's exciting. We've heard from others who have said, but certainly we're here to celebrate National Tree Day, and who doesn't love to be outside, even when it's a little cool, to celebrate the trees and all of their beauty. Secondly, the pandemic has actually, for many of us, has pushed us to really think about how we can be delivering our programs. This space and coming together as a community outside is one of those ways that Career Trek is now sort of testing the waters of how we can do and deliver career exploration for kids. And it's about bringing community together. The other thing that makes this event really exciting is that as a non-Indigenous organization, Career Trek is very mindful of the work it needs to do in the space of truth, reconciliation, listening, learning, and healing. And being here today is part of that work. And the reason this is important and why I share it with you is that on an annual basis, about 40% of Career Trek's participants do identify as Indigenous. And when we actually look at some of our individual programs, that number jumps to over 80%. And so if we're going to do the work in the space of truth and reconciliation, then we need to find ways where our programming is also doing the same thing and bringing together Indigenous teachings and worldviews. So today, again, we are doing that, and we will continue to do that work going forward. The last thing I want to share with you, which is really exciting because I think it's super timely, is that on Monday, I received an email from the City of Winnipeg to say that our application to become a partner with the City of Winnipeg's Indigenous Accord has been accepted, and we should pay attention to the days coming where there'll be an official ceremony that Career Trek will now be a signatory to the city's Winnipeg Indigenous Accord. So again, I thank all of you for being here and for celebrating with us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the afternoon. That's exciting.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you for the hard and important work that you're doing for our youth and career exploration and career development, and especially for the respect and the honoring that I know that you thoughtfully take in a genuine and authentic way with respect to Indigenous inclusion. Miigwech. Okay, so the coming together in this way is a good reminder of the thanks and appreciation we need to give to show the world around us to honor trees and to give thanks for everything that they do and they provide us. We've heard many, many stories of that today. So it's with great honor now that I welcome back Elder Flint to the podium to share with us some teachings around the importance of trees.
Well, hello again, everybody. I'm not going to be so serious as everybody else because there are ways to appreciate our trees without getting all, sad sack about it. But I'll just go right back to the 70s because what we did in the 70s was go hug trees. And if you hug a tree, if you're feeling anxious, that tree will drain all that anxiety out of you. If you're really in a bad state, and not in winter, mind you, take off your shoes and socks and put your feet in the soil by a tree and just hang out with the tree. And I don't care what kind of pill a doctor is going to give you, it will not do for you what just being in the forest can do for you and being around trees. And they got all kinds of fancy names for it now. They call it forest bathing. I don't know. It's all goofy. All it is go for a walk in the bush and you will feel better. And if we take lessons from these trees, look around us. There's all kinds of trees, they're all living together. They're not even fighting. And you know what else they do? Even if they're not really, they're kind of related, of course, but even if it's not the same species, as two-leggeds, we do volunteer work to help our community. Well, trees do that too. Because if there's a sick tree, the other trees around it will feed it through the roots and support that tree. We don't see that. We know it happens. And our elders and our teachers from generations knew about that happening. We just have to, if you go out and just hang out in the bush and just sit there and listen, they will guide you and they will help you with things. And I know, but people have called me crazy lots of times. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I can still go out to talk to a tree and I'll go home and I'll feel better, And I can take my grandchildren out there when they're being all wild and crazy and take them for a walk in the bush. It's the best education. I think one of the things that came out of this COVID, I think that is very beneficial, is now outside classrooms, which have been developing over the past few years, are now kind of mandatory. Children should be outside to learn. They should not be in a box all day. And children aren't made to, you can't nail them down to a desk and say, sit there and just listen all day. I call that child abuse. Take the kids outside, go for a walk, let them see what Creator has given us. We have so many medicines here, and in this garden we've planted many medicines. There's everything here that we need. So start looking at that and start learning that about what we already have, and quit falling victim to all that crazy stuff where you need 6 different kinds of pills because you got toothaches. So I think that's really all I'm going to say, but I have an assignment for everybody. Before you leave this forest, go show your appreciation to some of these trees and give them a hug, because they like it too, And lately the world's been a little bit short of hugs, so today would be a good day to catch up on a few. Okay? Miigwech.
Thank you, Elder Vint. Now I just need to find my page. No, that's okay. Actually, should have had you stay here. But I just want to thank you very much for sharing your thoughts about trees, and I completely agree. And I would also echo that when you think about trees, and that would be my challenge to you also, is just to think about everything that a tree provides or has provided historically. You think about us in history, and trees provide us shelter. We weave baskets from trees. We took care of our babies with trees. They protected us, they shaded us, they gave us medicines. So this is a special day. Miigwech for that. So I'm going to invite you back with your singers and your drummers, and we would like to have you do a special honoring, a tree song, but just want to give you a little information about what might happen next. And at each of your seats, you've noticed that you have a tobacco tie. And if you wish, you can take that tobacco when we do the planting ceremony, and you can offer that tobacco to these new trees, which happen to be cedars, one of the 4 sacred medicines. If you prefer, you can take your tobacco and you can make your own private offering at home. You can offer it to the sacred fire if you wish, but that tobacco is sacred medicine also. And we give it in thanks and reciprocity, and we just want to encourage you to enjoy your tobacco and take your moment of reflection, today or any day actually, in appreciation of all these natural beauties that we have around us, trees being one of them. Okay, so Elder Vint, if you'd like to come and sing. And while she's doing that, please feel free to take your tobacco, and we just want to make sure that while this is happening, that you're being mindful of maintaining some physical distance. And once you've offered your tobacco, we'll just ask you to come back and take your seat, and at that point, the students from Gonzaga Middle School will add the soil to the trees, and then their work will be done, and we'll come together for some closing remarks. Okay, go ahead.
I just noticed there are some people in the audience that I think might know this song. So if you know the tree song, please join us. Ready?
To stand up and be like a tree, to sway with a song.
Okay. I have another assignment from Hilda. These are 2 of my drum sisters. It's Jan and Hilda. And Hilda says you need to stand up and be a tree. So sway in the breeze.
Like a tree.
Just don't crack and fall over though. Okay.
Yahweh, 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 Nizam Hina Ake, Yahweh, 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 Nizamina Gishigo, Yahweh, 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 Ishigo, Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, ha. Nizamina ake. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, ha. Nizamina Kishigo. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, ha. Nizamina ake. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, Yahweh, ha. Yahweh, ha.
I would just like everyone to recognize our small dancer here, the future of our world.
Beautiful. Miigwech, Egosani. So now, for those of you who haven't and wish to do so, feel free to take a few minutes to offer your prayers and tobacco to one of the 3 trees or the sacred fire. Just as everyone is finishing making their offering, we just want to now get the students from Gonzaga School to start to finish their planting. So feel free, students, to visit the trees that you've been assigned to and get the trees planted, firmly set at Kapabamayak Achaak, the Healing Forest. Just as the students are doing that, it's been a lovely afternoon. I know that it's a little cooler probably than many of us expected. The fire is keeping us warm. So many incredible and thoughtful thoughts coming from many of the guests. And I can certainly feel all the energy and the love and the respect that we're all sharing today on National Tree Day, and want to acknowledge the wonderful work that Career Trek is doing and will continue to do. So before we officially close off our time together, quick message for the students. They get to stay a little longer. They're going to spend some time with the Career Trek staff because they're going to have a quick career exploration lesson which some of us would refer to as land-based education, which is so exciting. And they're going to divide you into a couple of groups and do some of the work that an environmental technologist would have to do. So we want you to have lots of fun, and thank you so much for being here with us and sharing this today. Yes, a round of applause is great. Thank you. And to our elders, our knowledge keepers, the dignitaries, our residential school survivors and thrivers, and all of the guests that made time today, miigwech, egosani, thank you so much for being here to celebrate National Tree Day with us. Stay safe, everyone, and have a wonderful week.